Tile is everywhere in the home, from walls to floors to fireplace surrounds to backsplashes, but there's so many different types and designs, it's easy to get overwhelmed. In today's video on Homes Explained, I'm breaking down the most common types of tile in today's home, how they're made, where they work best, and what to watch out for when it comes to durability, maintenance, and design. So whether you're planning a new build or remodeling, or just want to know more about the materials in your own home, this is your definitive tile guide. Ceramic tile is the most widely used tile within homes. It's made from sand, water and clay, shaped into tiles and fired in a kiln at low temperatures. A glaze is then added before a final firing in the kiln, and that's what gives the ceramic tile its smooth and glossy surface. It's lightweight, affordable and available in every imaginable colour and design. Ceramic tile is most commonly used on vertical applications. So think about walls in kitchens and bathrooms, backsplashes, fireplace surrounds, even kind of decorative features behind vanities and ranges. So can ceramic tile be used on floors? It can if it is rated for floor grade use. That means it has to have a PEI rating that certifies it's good to be used on floor, where you're going to have the weight, foot traffic, the kind of objects being dropped on it so it doesn't chip, and basically stands up to the wear and tear of daily use. The standard wall grade ceramic would not be good enough to go on the floor. So just make sure if you're planning on putting ceramic on the floor that it has a PEI rating that certifies it fit for that purpose. Otherwise, ceramic is a fantastic, flexible, affordable and very stylish tile, which is the most commonly found in homes. Tile number 2 is porcelain. And with porcelain, we often think it's going to be delicate because we automatically associate it with kind of porcelain dolls or porcelain china. But that's wrong, because porcelain is one of the toughest tiles you are going to find. It's actually a step up from ceramic. It's made with finer clay and it's fired at much higher temperatures, which means it's really strong and very water resistant, which makes it an ideal tile for floors, showers, patios, and high traffic areas. It also withstands temperature swings really well, which means it's great for outdoor applications. Porcelain is very high end, it's elegant, and thanks to modern digital printing, it can also mimic the look of stone, concrete and wood so convincingly that you probably couldn't even tell the difference. There are trade-offs, of course. Porcelain is heavier than ceramic, it's more expensive and it's harder to cut. So that makes DIY installs certainly a bit more tricky. But when it comes to durability, versatility and overall long-term value, porcelain is one of the best tile materials out there. From dense and durable to light and reflective, number 3 is glass tile, which is made by heating sand and recycled glass until it melts and then reshaping it into its form and pressing it. It's most commonly used in kind of backsplashes, decorative accent areas such as shower niches, where its reflective quality adds visual interest. So glass tile is non-porous, it resists mold and mildew, and it doesn't stain. So it's great for use in areas such as kitchens and bathrooms that are wet and need to be wiped down and kept clean. In terms of durability, glass tile is surprisingly tough for wall use, but it can scratch. So a bit like with ceramic tile, glass tile is best used on vertical applications only. It's also more brittle than ceramic and porcelain tile, so that means it's a lot harder to cut. Having said that, it is typically installed by being mounted on mesh backing, which makes installs significantly easier, especially if you're doing it yourself and you're not a professional. Overall, glass tile is excellent when used in small doses to add visual interest and contrast. Now we're moving into the handmade artisan style tiles, starting with the bold pattern beauty of cement tiles. So these are made from a blend of cement, sand and natural pigments, kind of pressed into a mold and just left to cure with no kiln required. Now, in contrast to what you think when you hear of cement tiles, you think of something industrial and grey and thick and horrible, but actually cement tiles are boldly coloured, patterned, really beautiful, thick, matte tiles with a soft, earthy feel. They're also known for their rich, saturated colours. For example, the use of terracottas, blues, mustard yellows, oranges, and their intricate geometric patterns. And they're often associated with kind of Spanish, Moroccan, Mediterranean design, because in those regions, cement tiles were used a lot to add warmth and personality to their homes. So they're not without maintenance. Cement tiles are porous and they do require sealing both during and after their installation. And they will develop a patina over time, which some people feels just adds to the character. Cement tiles are bold and patterned and bring a real unique old world artisan style vibe to any home. So if you love the handmade artisan look but want more shine and texture, our fifth tile, Zellige, takes it to a whole new level. So in Arabic, Zellige means tile work, and this is a true Moroccan tile made in the Fez region for centuries. So each tile is literally shaped by hand with unrefined clay, sun-dried, glaze applied and fired in a centuries-old kiln. And the result is a luminous, high-gloss tile with irregular edges, colour variation and imperfections. Now, Zellige is still the name that we give to kind of the mass-produced knockoffs. However, it's ironic that a lot of people actually prefer the kind of cheaper copied variant because it is more uniform. So it still has the high gloss, it still has that irregularity, but they are a bit more uniform than the real authentic tiles that come from the Fez region. They're also significantly cheaper. But it's the variation and imperfection for which Zellige is celebrated. And you'll often see it on bathroom walls, fireplaces, kind of anywhere where you want texture and visual depth. So Zellige in some ways reminds me of the dimensional tile, which we're going to come on to, where the interest comes from the kind of the tactile, the shape of the tile itself and the imperfection rather than from the colour and the pattern. So in summary, if you want a tile with a story, texture and a handmade soul, Zellige is definitely the way to go. But if you want something a little bit more affordable, neat, predictable with the same high texture shine, then maybe the lookalike version is a bit more what you're looking for. Tile number 6, Terracotta, shares the same rustic handmade quality, but it has a much softer, more grounded palette. And terracotta is actually a ceramic tile, which is made from natural clay, rich in iron. And it's this high iron concentration, which gives terracotta its signature orange, earthy colour. It's actually fired at relatively low temperatures and is left unglazed, resulting in a matte surface with a rustic and porous finish. And it's particularly popular in kind of Spanish, Mediterranean or Southwestern style homes, where the natural tones, kind of handmade finish give a real warm and earthy texture. It's often used in those homes on floors, patios, stair treads, around fireplaces, anywhere where you want to add an organic, grounded feel. But because it's so porous, it does require sealing and staining, and it also doesn't make it the most obvious choice for kind of kitchens and bathrooms. But in the right setting, terracotta brings an old world charm that feels casual, relaxed, and timeless. Tile number 7 shifts us from material to shapes because the arabesque isn't about what it's made of, but the distinctive curving silhouette. So arabesque tiles feature curving, interlocking patterns inspired by Middle Eastern and Moroccan designs. However, they're typically made of ceramic or porcelain, which people find really surprising given the traditional and old world look that they have. However, that is part of the appeal because while the shape and pattern feels historic and handmade, the materials are modern and very easy to maintain. Arabesque tile, whether done in bold colours or soft neutrals, makes a statement through movement and elegance without overwhelming a space, and it's typically used in accent places such as backsplashes, shower niches or fireplace surrounds. Speaking of iconic shapes, Tile number 8 is the subway tile, which has been around for over a century and is not going anywhere. It's a tile made from ceramic or porcelain, which is rectangular shaped, typically 3 by 6 inches. And it was originally installed in 1904 in the New York subway, hence the name. It was chosen for being very durable, easy to clean, and highly reflective, which was ideal for brightening the underground and helping it feel more hygienic at a time when public sanitation was a major concern. Today, the subway tile remains a go-to choice for kitchens, bathrooms and laundry rooms. It's clean, classic and incredibly versatile. And while the traditional layout is a staggered brick pattern, you can easily modernize it by installing it horizontally in a stacked grid, crisscross, herringbone, whatever you fancy. Subway tile also comes in different finishes from high gloss to matte, so you really can dial it up or down depending on your space and the look you're trying to achieve. Grout plays a big role too when it comes to subway tile, because while you typically see complementary tile colour and grout, with subway it's certainly not unusual to see a very contrasting grout colour, for example a white tile and then a black or charcoal grout to really highlight and showcase the tile pattern. So this works particularly well with more modern and industrial style spaces such as lofts. Now, the only real downside with subway tile is its popularity and the fact you see it everywhere. So it's not really that much of a design statement in its own right. But that's also why people love it, because it's affordable, it's clean, it's timeless, and it works well with every style. From big rectangles to tiny details, tile number 9 is the mosaic tile. And mosaic tiles refer to any small format tile mounted in sheets, usually on a mesh backing. So it's more about the small size and the layout, because in terms of material, mosaic tiles can be made of ceramic, porcelain, glass, stone, or even metal. Mosaics are often used for accent areas such as borders, niches, decorative walls, and the small size gives it the flexibility to create patterns, pictures, even words. And while mosaics can be stunning, the downside to mosaics is that they can be very time consuming to install, and also because of the small size there's a lot more grout kind of to fix them all together, which means a lot more ongoing maintenance. But in the right space, mosaics add texture, personality and movement in a way that just the larger tiles cannot. And there's one particular mosaic tile that deserves a mention of its own. So can you guess what tile number 10 is? The penny round. I hope you got it right. These tiles are the size and shape of a penny, which is where they got their name. And they're technically a mosaic tile mounted on mesh sheets for easy installation. So they're typically made of ceramic or porcelain, and penny rounds offer a kind of retro, light-hearted look that works really well in vintage style bathrooms and on shower floors. Their rounded shape and high grout density make them naturally slip resistant, which is great for wet areas. But as with any mosaic tile, the downside of having all that grout is that it's extra kind of ongoing care and maintenance to keep it sealed and clean. However, penny rounds are just so cute. They add charm and personality in a way that is classy and fun. Tile number 11 is the dimensional tile, which adds visual interest without relying on bold colours or patterns. Instead, it creates texture through shape and shadow. So these dimensional tiles have raised surface areas with either like ridges, waves, or kind of geometric forms, which catch the light and create subtle movement. They're usually made of ceramic or porcelain, and they feature on kind of decorative walls and accent areas. But because of their sculpted surface, they're not ideal for busy, active areas because they can be hard to clean. All that said, dimensional tiles can be very effective and a subtle design choice in an area where you want to add depth and detail without overwhelming it. And they're perfect if you're working with a neutral palette, but still want something that feels intentional and layered. Moving into natural stone, tile number 12 is the soft and elegant marble. Marble is cut from natural stone slabs and is prized for its soft veining, its cool touch, and its timeless upscale appearance. It can be honed for a matte finish or polished to a high gloss, depending on the aesthetic you're going for. It's often used in bathrooms, foyers, and formal spaces, but marble is extremely porous, prone to staining, and can be etched by acidic substances like lemon juice, some cleaners, and even beauty products. And in fact, years ago, my daughter at home had a marble vanity in her bathroom, which we knew was a nightmare because we're not very good at sealing things. And one year she used to love those squidgy letters that you spell things on glass. I wrote happy birthday in squidgy letters on her mirror, and she took each letter down and placed it on her countertop. So for months we could read happy birthday stained into her marble countertop, and eventually it came out, but it took a real long time. So learn from me, you need to definitely seal marble and keep it sealed, and then you need a neutral pH cleaner as ongoing maintenance. When you take care of marble, it's absolutely stunning, but maybe limit it to low traffic areas and definitely not where children go. Tile 13 slate offers a more rugged take on a natural stone, less refined but incredibly tough and practical. Slate is a dense, layered stone with a naturally textured surface, and it's known for its slip resistance and durability, which means it's ideal for entryways, mudrooms, and outdoor patios. Now, you won't typically see this in kind of decorative areas like kitchens, bathrooms, backsplashes, because slate has a natural cleft on the surface, which makes it really rough and also quite heavy. So it's not suited for those applications. But for hardworking, high traffic areas where kind of texture and grip matter more than polish, slate is an excellent, practical and long lasting choice. Another natural stone, tile number 14, is travertine, which is a type of limestone which develops tiny pits and grooves as it forms, giving it a soft and leathered appearance. And these tiny grooves and holes can either be filled and smoothed over or left open as nature intended. In terms of colour, travertine usually comes in very warm colours such as creams and beiges, and it brings a great old world warmth to any space it's in. Travertine is most commonly used as a flooring tile in entryways, bathrooms, and even outdoor patios. And as with slate, you won't see travertine in decorative areas because its strength lies in large-scale grounded applications. And like many other natural stones, travertine is porous and it can react badly to acidic cleaners, so you do need to handle it with care. But for homeowners looking for a classic earthy surface, travertine remains a popular and enduring choice. Tile 15 is limestone. It's less commonly used than the other natural stones, but for homeowners wanting an understated and natural feel with a refined edge, limestone can be a really beautiful choice. It's a soft sedimentary stone with a chalky colour palette, so it's typically seen in beiges and creams. Unlike other natural stones, it is porous, but limestone is also softer than marble and travertine, so you don't typically see it in floor applications. It's usually used in kind of decorative wall, accent walls, where it's used in a large tile format. It also needs to be sealed and gently cleaned over time to take the best care of it. And from the least commonly used stone to the most commonly used stone tile, which isn't even an actual stone, tile number 16 is quartz. Now, many people get confused between quartz, which is an engineered or man-made stone, and quartzite, which is a natural stone. But you don't typically find quartzite in tile format because it's incredibly dense, heavy, and difficult to cut. But quartz is engineered by combining crushed quartz with resins and pigments to create a smooth, non-porous surface. It's consistent in colour, easy to maintain, and often used in large wall panels or modern tile installations. It's a very popular tile choice because it offers the same cleaned, natural, high-end look of natural stone, but without the weight, the cost, or the natural variation and flaws within the stone. While it's technically a porcelain tile, tile number 17 is the wood look tile, which has become so popular and widely used that it deserves its own mention. It offers the warmth and texture of real wood, but with the low maintenance and durability of tile, which makes it especially useful in areas where hardwood wouldn't typically hold up well. Woodlook tile is digitally printed to mimic the grain, colour and knots of natural wood, and it's a popular choice for areas where you may want to add a bit more character, for example entryways, mudrooms, basements, even outdoor patios. It's easy to clean, it's water resistant, it's scratch resistant, it's a great choice for families. The only downside to it is that it can be cold underfoot, for example if you install it in the bathroom, and the grout lines between the tile can be a bit of a giveaway that it's not real wood. And finally, tile number 18 is the peel and stick, which has become so popular on Instagram and TikTok that I felt it needed its own mention because it presents an entry-level way to refresh a space without the mess of grout, thinset and professional tools. So these imitation tiles are made from a lightweight vinyl or a composite material, and they come with an adhesive backing for really easy install. So while they're not particularly durable, they're not heat, they're not moisture resistant, they are a really great short-term solution for a cosmetic upgrade. They offer a fast, low-cost, low-commitment design fix. So from budget-friendly ceramic to handcrafted Zellige, as you can see, there's a tile for every space, style and budget. I hope you found this video really helpful. Please like and subscribe. Catch one of my other videos on Homes Explained, and I'll see you next time.